Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for listening to the Style and Stewardship podcast. If you think that this would benefit someone else that you may know, I would love for you to share it with them. And also, if you would leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts, I would really, really appreciate that. Let's get into this episode. You are listening to episode 58 of the Style and Stewardship podcast. In this episode, I just wanted to I'm just going to call some stuff out because it just needs to be said. There are things that many of us are doing that are not just not contributing to our health and wellness, but they're actually sabotaging our health and wellness, our health as a whole. And they're really simple things, they're subtle things that we may not even think about, but we're going to jump into 7 ways that you may be, maybe you're not, but you may be sabotaging your health. You're listening to the Style and Stewardship podcast. So, what is stewardship? That is exactly what we'll be talking about in each and every episode of this podcast. As Christ followers, I think it's so important that we manage every single area of our lives to the best of our ability. Not perfectly, but intentionally in our own unique way, and holding on to God's grace every single step of our journey. On this podcast, I'll be sharing thoughts, things that God's teaching me, and transparent talks. My hope is that when you listen, you'll feel equipped, you'll be encouraged, and more than anything, I hope that you're inspired to live out your day-to-day calling in your own unique way. This podcast is for the woman who wants to hear, "Well done." So I am going to jump right in. These are in no particular order, but I'm going to start with this one. One of the ways that we are sabotaging our health and inviting toxins into our body and consuming things that we really should not have in our bodies is heating things up in plastic. So, whether it is a quote unquote, plastic container that you may be pouring your lunch in, it may be one of those, steam in the microwave vegetable bags. Well, if it's a vegetable and it's also in plastic, and now we're taking it and we're putting it into the microwave and we're heating it up so that it steams inside this plastic bubble, we are literally taking in toxins into our bodies. The easiest way to mitigate that is to take it out of the bag, put it in a glass container if you want to heat it up, put a lid on it, and it will steam by itself just like that. Leaving things in plastic bags, heating things up in plastic bags, constantly drinking out of plastic bottles, or, sometimes we can't help that. But it's something that I always say because I truly believe this. It's the things that we do the most often that are affecting us the most in every single area of our lives because it's a habit and it's something that we are consistently doing. And over time, these things like plastics will bioaccumulate in our bodies and cause all types of issues. Plastics do not belong in our bodies. They are endocrine disruptors and they can jack up our hormones. I'm not even going to get into all the science in it, but that's an overview of that particular one. There are some new products that are on the market as well that we really should not be using. So, if you have a crock pot and they have these like liners now that you can use, now they are encouraging us to slow cook our food in plastic to save our hands from washing them. A lot of the bottoms of the crock pots now will go in the dishwasher. If not, instead of putting plastic on the inside of the crock pot, let it soak overnight like my mom used to do. Put some Dawn dish detergent in there, and then you can put on your plastic or your latex gloves and you can clean it out the next day. This is a super easy way to, one, not spend money to poison yourself. I literally don't know how else to say that. It is poison. So, skipping heating up plastic in any way, shape, or form, that is going to be the first way that I would say that we are sabotaging our health and our wellness. You can grab some glass containers to heat your food up in. They make them with compartments now. There's some amazing ones on Amazon. I have one. There are the classic Anchor glassware that you can use. When it comes to drinking water all day long, I have a stainless steel cup. You can get glass ones with little silicone sleeves on the outside if you're afraid of breaking them. There are other options, and these things last longer and they can be used over and over again. Over time, you're actually going to save yourself a lot of money than buying bottled water all the time. I get it, sometimes we have to, but if you can avoid it, grab purchase a stainless steel or a glass bottle, and you can use that over and over again, and you can just refill it with filtered water from your home. So the next one is going to be these little packets of like seasoning mixes. And if you've ever used any of these, I've used them in the past, whether it's taco seasoning or chili seasoning, you want to make it a taco night and you want to just grab some things really, really quickly. This is how we can add things to our food that does not need to be there. And we are literally, I know this sounds really crazy, but we are paying companies to poison us when we are purchasing things that, one, they have ingredients that are completely unnecessary, and two, they're highly processed and terrible for us. So I'm just going to read you the ingredients on the back of a typical taco seasoning mix. I'm not even going to name any brands. So this one has chili pepper, that's totally fine, right? Corn maltodextrin, aka anything that ends in dextrin is a sugar, and this is a highly processed sugar from which what is probably highly likely one of the highest genetically modified organisms that there are, which is corn, wheat, and soy. Then there's salt, okay. Then it says onion. Then it says spices. Nothing else after that. It says spices. So we have no idea what those spices are, and they don't have to tell us. Cornstarch. Okay, well, that's not horrible, but that's another, genetically modified ingredient that probably has all types of, don't even get me started. Then we have sea salt, again, because the first salt wasn't enough, so we're going to add some more salt. Then we have silicone or silicon dioxide, which we don't, if you find silicone or silica, we're not even supposed to inhale that because it can be an irritant to our lungs. Then it goes on to say it has natural flavors and sugar. And then there's a little bit more at the bottom. It says may contain traces of milk, eggs, wheat, and soy. So that is just from one little packet of taco mix. And we're like, oh, okay, it's 50 cents. I'll grab one and I can make it a taco night and it'll be super simple. We're paying for things we don't need that we probably already have that are literally terrible for our health. Instead, you can create a Pinterest board if you want. You can hop on Google, on the Google, and you can just create your own taco seasoning mix. I do it all the time. I've been doing it for years. You can tweak it to how your family likes it, but I put cumin, oregano, smoked paprika, a little bit of salt, regular paprika. What's the other thing that I put in there? A little bit of Cajun spice if we want it to be spicy, black pepper, garlic, onion powder, and I'm missing something. Did I say cumin? I think I said cumin already. So that's what I put in mine, and it's delicious. And you can use any recipe that you like, but please use something other than that. The next thing that I see is a huge, huge issue. When we're buying these cooking sprays, they have propellants in them that we really shouldn't be ingesting. But not just that, we're getting this fake stuff in a can. They've gotten a lot better. I've purchased some non-propellant sprays. There's one by Chosen Food that I like, and it's an avocado oil spray. Avocado oil can be heated at high temperatures without it going rancid, and that's a great option. Or you can get, what I like to do is get one of those grill brushes, the smaller ones. I melt down some coconut oil, I dip it in there, and I use that like on my waffle iron, if I need to get into like small crevices. So that's an option that you can use instead of using these terrible sprays and like fake butters. And I can't believe it's not this and all that other stuff. These are man made products that, a lot of times people are doing it if they're calorie restricted. But the fact of the matter is it is going to do way more harm than good when it comes to your health. The next thing is added oils and things that don't need to be there. I was just in the grocery store the other day and I picked up a canister of like those party peanuts. And I haven't been eating peanuts for quite some time, but on the back of the can, it said hydrogenated oil, which no one needs to go near anything like that, and salt and flavor in the peanuts. And I was like, these are peanuts. Why are we adding stuff to the peanuts? And peanuts are naturally oily. Why are we adding oil to them? It's unnecessary and it gets them to cut cost. Because when we see like a small can of nuts or peanuts or something like that, we think, oh, what's the big deal? It has a little bit of oil in it. But if you think about someone who's making tons of something, we're talking about they're cutting their cost by adding something that's cheap so it can have a longer shelf life. And it's unnecessary. You can get dry roasted peanuts if you wanted something. You can get raw peanuts. That's an option too. And I'm like harping on peanuts because I just recently saw that, but they do this in so many other things. I picked up a bag of almonds. Those had peanut oil in them, and so did the cashews. Like I was gonna get this big canister of cashews from Costco, and I ended up getting the raw ones because the regular cashews, the roasted ones, had peanut oil on them. And I was like, what in the world? Why are we adding oil to things that have natural oils in them? And it's for shelf life and it cuts their cost. And it's most of the time it's something that you don't need and it's highly processed anyways. The next thing, same vein of the oils, is frying things that already have oil on them. Case in point would be if you have been to the grocery store and you've gone to the frozen food section and you picked up a bag of fries. If you flip over that bag of, the ready to, cook fries, and my grandmother used to actually do this, she would get a big thing of corn oil and she would fry the fries that you got from the frozen food section. But if you flip that bag over, it says it already has oil in it. And I remember trying to convince her when she was still here. I was like, Granny, it's not going to take much more time if I can just put all of these out on a cookie sheet and put them in the oven at 425 for 10 to 15 minutes. They'll crisp right up. You do not have to double fry them. And this is with a lot of things. If it's something that already has oil or naturally has oil in it, it does not need oil to be added to it. The next thing is reading just the front of the package and not paying any attention to what the ingredients are because we're looking at the promises that this package is making and the thing that it's saying that it doesn't have in it or the thing it's boasting that it has in it. So, for example, it'll say something like 12 grams of whole grain or whole grain brown rice, or it'll say sugar free. And it says all of these things and it makes all of these claims. And when you turn over the back of the package and you read the ingredients, it's a bunch of crap. And who cares if it has 12 grams of whole anything if there is this lengthy list of fake food-like ingredients and we're trying to boast that it has whole grains? So what? Can you tell that these things, they have no business being things that we buy on a regular basis? I mean, seriously. Whenever we are, the last thing is removing fat from things that should have fat in them, because we hear that it's better to eat eat fat free, or avoid eating fat. One of the craziest things that we have been convinced to do, and I've done it myself, is to throw out the egg yolk and eat the egg white. And we are told that this is going to raise our cholesterol. This is coming and handed down from the same people that are telling us to eat low fat this and low fat that, that are pumped with so many fake ingredients that are actually the things that are most detrimental to our health. God didn't make the things that people are making in labs and selling them to us and telling us that they are fat free, sugar free, or have whole grains in them. Okay. Oh, okay. I'm good now. I'm sorry. So, when it comes to the egg yolk, it is the most nutritious part of the egg. As far as protein, if you're looking at just macros, a lot of the issues that I have with macro counting, which it has its place, but a lot of the issues that I have with macro counting is the fact that we are focusing so much on this one aspect, that this one macronutrient, that we're completely ignoring micronutrients. We are completely ignoring fiber and phytochemicals and minerals that our body needs. The same thing when it comes to weight loss. When we are just focused on weight loss and you think you're going to get there any means necessary by cutting calories or all of those different things, all those different ways, a lot of times we are removing the very things that make us healthy. So, when it comes to eggs, when we're throwing out the egg yolk, we are throwing away iron, zinc, micronutrients, vitamin A. Hold on, because I had to pull this up. So, the egg yolk contains high amounts of vitamin A, D, E, K, B1, B2, B5, B6, B9, and B12. The white has the B vitamins B2, B3, B5, B1, B6, B8, B9, and B12. Okay. So when we're talking about the whole egg, do you see all of the vitamins that we're throwing out? If we're throwing out vitamins. Okay, look at it like this. The next time you want to eat just whites, think, I'm about to throw out vitamin A, D, E, K, right? I'm going to get my B vitamins. I'm going to get a lot of them from the egg whites, but I'm throwing away all of these other things, as well as minerals and choline, which, oh my goodness. So when we are told just eat egg whites or buy this carton of egg whites over here and throw out the yolk because the cholesterol is bad for you, we're missing the best parts of the egg. And this was one of the things that it is one of, when they say it's a complete protein, it truly is. And as far as, when we're talking about finances, eggs are one of the best proteins that we can possibly eat. Okay. All right, I'm done with the eggs right now. None of these things was I going to go like super in depth and tell you about BPAs and all of the different things and the plastic and all of that. I just wanted to give kind of an overview of some of the things that we may be doing that are completely sabotaging our health for the claims that have been made, or the things that we have been convinced and marketed to for years and years and years. When we throw away things like the egg yolk, or we eat chicken but we take the skin off, why are we doing that? Who told us that? No one back in, if you spoke to your great 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 grandparents, or great great at this point grandparents, and you remembered what they used to make, or you asked your great grandparent or your grandmother what they grew up eating, they were not eating the I can't believe it's not such and such butters. They were not eating low fat this and low fat that and sugar free this and sugar free that, because they were eating real food. We are eating a lot of food like ingredients, and we're doing things like taking the skin off of chicken legs, which has so much collagen in it. And then what we get marketed to, which is the ironic part, we get sold the thing that we paid them to take out. And when I say that, for example, if we don't, I'm going to use eggs because it just makes the most sense because I just spoke about it. So when we remove the egg yolk and now we're buying a supplement that has the very vitamins we just threw out, we are totally missing the point. This is the importance of eating real whole food in its whole state, the way God made it. If not, we end up extracting all the good things out of our foods and then paying a company to give us a supplement of something that we just threw in the trash because we were told it was healthier not to eat it. So this is kind of some of the things that I was talking about when I was saying there's so much that I have had to unlearn about food, and there's so much that so many of us have to unlearn about what we've been told and what we've been marketed to as far as what leads to healthy living. Most of the time, it's everything that our great great grandmother did. I'm just saying. Maybe growing something in a pot and having us, create, having our own plant, maybe growing a tomato or two, or, so many of the things that we've gotten away from. I feel like God has just called, like, I mean, me and my family and I, my family and I, you get what I'm saying. Me and my family, what we've, had to incorporate over the years. And I was talking to my husband a couple of nights ago, and I was just saying to him, I was like, there's so much that I want to share on the podcast. There's so much I want to share with everyone. And we were just kind of going back and forth of all the different things that we've tried and all the different things that we've done. And what we both came to realize was, yeah, and what he had to encourage me with was that we started somewhere. And that's what I want to encourage you with, is to start somewhere. So maybe this week it's drinking out of a stainless steel cup, or drinking out of a glass, cup or something like that, and avoiding plastic this week. Maybe it's, not heating things up in plastic for you. Maybe it's eating the entire egg because it's amazing for you. Or leaving the skin on your chicken. I'm not talking about deep fried food, by the way. But if you like roasted some chicken, or you got a rotisserie chicken or something like that, and unless it's coated with some seasoning you don't know about or you can't have or whatever, eat the skin. Eating protein with fat actually helps our bodies digest it. And we'll be talking more about digestion and absorption and minerals and all of the things on some other podcasts. But I just kind of wanted to start with sorry if I like hit the mic, but I just wanted to start with some of the things that I believe that we are doing that are hazardous to our health, that we may be doing on a regular basis, that we have been convinced are healthy. Going through your local grocery store, or going somewhere where they're serving whole food ingredients like a Chipotle, or a McAllister's Deli, or Jason's Deli, or whatever, may be in your area. But we can make better decisions when it comes to our food. And what I learned years and years and years ago, my goodness, I graduated college a very long time ago, now that I'm thinking about it. But one of the things that you learn in marketing is that as consumers, we vote with our dollars. And the more we continue to buy crap, the more they will continue to sell us crap. And I mean that. So I just want to encourage you with that and challenge you with that. And it's so important that we are discerning when it comes to what we are choosing to consume. And that goes spiritually, physically, health wise, and start making small decisions every single day that will make a massive impact on our health and our wellness. So until next time, your life matters. What you do with it matters. So what will you steward well?